Today we're going to look at how to titrate the alkali soaps and the car wash using the Blenco Titration Test Kit. To begin with, we need to collect a sample of soap from either the hydrominder tank or the wash bay. We collect that sample of soap in the 10cc test tube provided in the kit. We then transfer the sample into the sample bottle, and it's in this sample bottle that we'll perform the titration. So let's head out to the car wash and collect a sample. Here we have the sample of tyre cleaner we just collected from the self-serve pump stand. To begin the titration, first we have to add 2 to 4 drops of the bromophenyl blue indicator solution which comes in the kit. This indicator solution will turn blue in an alkali and it will turn yellow in an acid. So let's add 2 to 4 drops. We'll go 3 because that's right in the middle. As you can see, our sample now has a slight blue tinge to it. That's because the tyre cleaner is an alkali soap. The basic theory now is that we will add some acid to this until we effect a colour change in the indicator solution, which indicates we've completely neutralised the alkali soap. The more acid that we have to add to neutralise the alkali, then the more concentrated we know the alkali was. In the kit you will find a colour-coded dropper to match the bottle of titration acid. This dropper is graduated with these marks. Each mark represents 10 drops. What we're going to do is fill the dropper with acid from the bottle and begin to add it to our soap sample. The bromophenyl blue that we've already added to the sample has turned it blue, as this soap is an alkali soap. Eventually, as we're adding the acid to the sample, we will neutralise the alkali, at which point the bromophenyl blue will change from blue to yellow. The more of this acid that we have to add to the soap before we see the colour change, the stronger we know this soap is. So let's fill the dropper to the top with the acid. With our dropper filled to the top with acid, we will begin to add it to our soap sample, all the while watching for a colour change in the soap sample and also watching how many drops of acid we've added. Let's begin to add it. Continue to shake the sample as we do. That's 10, 15, 20 drops, 30 drops, 40 drops, and we haven't quite had a colour change yet, so we'll refill the dropper and continue to add the acid to the sample. 45 drops, and there we go. At 45 drops you can see the colour has changed dramatically from a blue colour to an almost yellow colour. This shows that we've neutralised all the alkali in this soap, and this sample of tyre cleaner is titrating at 45 drops. Not all the soaps are going to be the same colour. Some soaps have a dye in them. So just to show the difference between different soaps which are different colours, let's go back out to the pump stand and collect a sample of pink pre-soak. Here we have the sample of pre-soak that we just collected from the self-serve pump stand. As you can see, this pre-soak has a pink dye in it, which will slightly affect the colour change that we see when we carry out the titration. So let's titrate this now. First, as before, we'll add 2 to 4 drops of bromophenyl blue indicator solution. Now we have a distinct blue tinge in the sample. Like before, we will begin to add the 1 times titration acid, watching for a colour change and counting the drops. It's 10 drops, 20 drops, we're about to have a change, 25 drops. And we've had a distinct colour change there, but as you can see it hasn't gone bright yellow as it did in the tyre cleaner sample. We've got a more orangey colour due to the pink dye that was already present in the pre-soak. But we did definitely have a distinct colour change. So we know that this self-serve pre-soak is titrating at 25 drops. In these two examples we collected our sample from the hydrominder tank on the pump stand. If your equipment is direct inject, such as for example a laser wash or some of the modern self-serve equipment, you'll need to get yourself a jug or some other container and collect your sample from the wash bay whilst running the function. You let the sample settle in the jug until there is no foam in it, then transfer the sample to the 10cc measuring test tube, and then from there into the test bottle, just as we did before with the sample from the hydrominder tank.
Fluid 1. Water type, low pressure, arch.
As you saw in the clip, when we collected this sample from the wash bay, it was very foamy, but after letting it sit for a while the foam disappears, and we can now titrate this in exactly the same way as we did the sample from the hydrominder tank. We recommend that you titrate your soaps at least once a week to ensure they're operating at the correct strength to give your customers the quality results that they expect when they visit the wash. Regular titration testing can also be an early indicator of a number of issues that can occur with the equipment. Issues such as faulty foot valves, blocked lines and tips, faulty solenoids and injectors can all be picked up with regular titration testing. Remember also to always use the appropriate personal protective equipment when handling chemicals.